Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today. Chapter 731 New Rankings. The silver mirror appeared quite ordinary, imprisoned within the two-dimensional world, where even weapons that were 12-star strange treasures were subject to suppression. They could only display an insignificant trace of spirituality. Lin Yuan's bronze compass was like this. The protective inner armor of Tuoba Ancient God was the same, and Pei Shen's pitch-black iron staff was no exception. Yet this silver mirror, after careful consideration, Lin Yuan discovered the vast spatial fluctuations it contained internally. Space. Lin Yuan's expression became grave. The ability to contain such a degree of spatial fluctuations within this two-dimensional world, what would happen if it were in the main universe? This mirror is extraordinary, Lin Yuan thought to himself. But what is the use of this mirror? Lin Yuan had tried various methods for a good part of the day, blood among others, but still hadn't discovered anything. Tuoba Ancient God probably only got this mirror not long before. Lin Yuan speculated in his mind. He had pursued Tuoba Ancient God for so long, and the latter had desperately fled, never utilizing the mirror throughout. From this, one could infer that Tuoba Ancient God didn't know the capabilities of the mirror. Otherwise, in a life-or-death situation, any means would be used if it could save one's life. Take it slow. Even if I can't figure it out here. Once I take it out, I'll eventually understand. The powers of the silver mirror were restrained within the two-dimensional world, and its many marvels could not be revealed. As long as Lin Yuan could take it out, all problems would naturally be solved. Even if Lin Yuan couldn't understand it, he could consult with the spirit of the Shenhuang secret realm, as well as the stone statue Shinji in the demon jade space. With this thought, Lin Yuan solemnly stored away the silver mirror and then took out the inner armor of Tuoba Ancient God. This inner armor was extremely lightweight. When Lin Yuan wore it, he faintly felt his limbs and torso protected by a certain power. Any attack that bombarded Lin Yuan's body would be blocked by the inner armor itself, and even the residual force that infiltrated was dispersed and diluted. No wonder Tuoba Ancient God was so difficult to kill. A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. Wearing this inner armor virtually bolstered his defensive capability to its maximum. If I were to take this inner armor out into the outside world, I wonder what kind of might it would possess. Lin Yuan's eyes sparkled with vigor. Among all types of weapons and equipment, defensive gear is much more valuable than offensive gear. After all, survival is always the top priority no matter the circumstance. The only drawback is that the head is not within the protected range. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. The coverage of the inner armor only extended to the limbs and torso, but the head? Unless matched with the corresponding helmet, it might as well be exposed. And in this two-dimensional world, there was no such thing as regenerating from a beheading. Once the head was exploded, even the strong perished. Of course, the head, being a vital point, is something that every powerhouse amongst the myriad tribes would surely guard well. Tuoba Ancient God had protected his head thoroughly when fleeing from Lin Yuan's pursuit. Moreover, while the head is indeed a critical point, the skull is also the hardest bone in the body. The myriad tribes' powerhouses pay extra attention to the tempering of their bones during body refinement. To directly shatter the skull of the head, at least someone of the same level would find it very difficult to accomplish. Penetrative power is unavoidable though, Lin Yuan thought to himself. When he killed Tuoba Ancient God, it was by relying on blows that penetrated into the body, before finally erupting. This silver mirror could act as a heart protection mirror. Lin Yuan took out the mirror and placed it against his chest. Although he hadn't figured out the use of the silver mirror, The mirror itself was incredibly hard and impossible to destroy, a commonality shared by all rare treasures in this two-dimensional world. With the silver mirror as a secondary defense, at least Lin Yuan's cardiac protection was significantly stronger than other areas. With the results of Lin Yuan's cultivation of the evergreen technique, as long as it wasn't the heart, head, or other fatal organs, even if other organs were damaged, they would be able to recover. Iron Staff. After equipping the inner armor and the heart protection mirror, Lin Yuan turned his attention to the pitch-black Iron Staff. The pitch-black Iron Staff boasted a simple ability: strength. The same blow, once amplified by the pitch-black Iron Staff, would see its might skyrocket 2 to 3 times. One might not think much of this amplification, but this was the two-dimensional world, where enhancing one's strength was incredibly arduous. An amplification of 2 to 3 times was enough to elevate a powerhouse amongst the myriad tribes several levels. "It's just too big, too conspicuous," Lin Yuan remarked as he caressed the pitch-black Iron Staff. Compared to the compactness of the inner armor and the silver mirror, the pitch-black Iron Staff couldn't stay hidden. Its nearly 2-meter length was exceedingly conspicuous wherever it was placed. This was also due to the inability of any of the exotic treasures within this two-dimensional world to be refined. Otherwise, given the properties of exotic treasures, variable size at will would be the most basic capability. Its size doesn't really matter, Lin Yuan thought after consideration. After all, the staff offered the most direct enhancement to his strength. What about the inner armor? Unless faced with an absolute crisis, Lin Yuan didn't think he would need to use it. The inner armor was meant to boost Lin Yuan's survivability, but in this world, there were very, very few who could force Lin Yuan to retreat for the sake of his life. Furthermore, as time passed, Lin Yuan's rate of increasing strength grew ever faster, and such powerful adversaries would quickly diminish. "This move has been quite profitable," Lin Yuan concluded as he summarized the gains of this endeavor. First and foremost was avenging a grudge, causing Tuoba Ancient God to lose a part of his spirit will. Tuoba Ancient God was already an 11th rank 5th tier special being, with a minuscule chance of forcibly breaking through to the ultimate level. Now, with a portion of his spirit will gone, one could say that, barring any surprises, Tuoba Ancient God had completely cut off any opportunity to reach ultimate. Chapter 732. It wasn't that he couldn't push forward, but that pushing forward equated to death, leaving almost no hope of reaching the ultimate level. This act of severing Tuoba Ancient God's future path was Lin Yuan's way of settling the score from being wronged before. Fang Qing, his good friend, also virtually died at the hands of Tuoba Ancient God. Even though revived by a supreme being, the animosity was established. If Lin Yuan had the capability, naturally he wouldn't let the other party off. Next were the 3 strange items acquired, which enhanced Lin Yuan's strength in all aspects. Defense, attack, coupled with the premonition from the bronze compass, almost made Lin Yuan a hexagon warrior with no weaknesses. If he could develop the capabilities of the silver mirror, employing spatial strategies, then Lin Yuan could completely traverse this two-dimensional world with ease. And the gains here were not limited to the two-dimensional world. As long as Lin Yuan could successfully return to the main universe, the gains would increase countless times over. The 3 items were equivalent to 3 12-star strange treasuries weapons. Just thinking about it exhilarated Lin Yuan. Continue training. I can feel that the witch ancestor 19th realm is close. Lin Yuan thought to himself. He had been in the witch ancestor 18th realm for a while now and had a lot of premonitions about the 19th realm. Virtual world. Nalen, the deputy tower master, promptly contacted Lin Yuan to inform him of major events occurring in the two-dimensional world. This was also per Lin Yuan's request. Having hidden for a long time in the gathering places of Luochuan, distant from the core circles of the two-dimensional world, he didn't know much about many intelligence messages. That was why he requested this of Deputy Tower Master Nalen. Although Lin Yuan was confident that with his against heaven's understanding, he could surpass those Tier 11 perfection legendary beings, he wasn't so arrogant as to disregard everything entirely. Major events, major events. Deputy Tower Master Nalen's expression was grave. As soon as he saw Lin Yuan, He quickly started, Shuyu ancient country has given birth to a mysterious strong being who is not weaker than the 9 major powerhouses. Shuyu ancient country wasn't very noticeable among the 12 ancient countries. Although it also had many myriad tribes powerhouses dispersed throughout, it never produced any particularly impressive strong beings. That was why Tuoba ancient god and other special beings set their sights on Shuyu ancient country. A soft persimmon needs to be pinched. And in the 12 ancient countries, Shuyu ancient country undoubtedly belonged to the category of soft persimmons. Little did they expect that this time, Tuoba ancient god and other special beings would suffer a major setback. That mysterious strong being from Shuyu ancient country is too terrifying, Deputy Tower Master Nalan said in awe. Barehanded, he killed both Tuoba ancient god and Pei Shun, both of whom were strong beings wielding strange artifacts. Deputy Tower Master Nalan spoke with considerable surprise. Being at Tier 11 himself, he had a significant gap compared to Tuoba ancient god and Pei Shun. If he encountered them in the two-dimensional world, it was uncertain whether he could even escape. Lin Yuan listened quietly on the side. He was the mysterious strong being mentioned by Deputy Tower Master Nalan, but he did not plan to publicly reveal this yet. There was no benefit in doing so. It would only attract countless attention. Besides, many of the strong beings that fell into the two-dimensional world are still hidden, practicing in the dark. The 4 divine kings and the other 9 major powerhouses are just a part of them, Deputy Tower Master Nalan said with emotion. Having witnessed the 4 divine kings and other major powerhouses over the past 100 years, and the recent battle from Shuyu ancient country, Deputy Tower Master Nalan had almost given up the idea of his avatar leaving the two-dimensional world. What a joke! To leave the two-dimensional world, he would have to compete with the 4 divine kings and that mysterious strong being from Shuyu ancient country. Indeed, there are many strong beings hidden in the shadows. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. Many of the strong beings that had fallen into the two-dimensional world shared his thoughts. These strong beings refrained from doing anything during the early stages, only making a move after the gates to heaven opened. However, even if some strong beings are hiding, the presence of the 4 divine kings, mysterious strong beings, and others definitely constitute the strongest circle inside the two-dimensional world, Deputy Tower Master Nalan said. Revealing one's identity early on wasn't necessarily weaker than those who hid their identities. It was just a difference in approach. Where does that mysterious strong being currently rank among the openly powerful in the two-dimensional world? Lin Yuan suddenly became curious, wanting to know his own strength positioning. I knew you would ask this, Deputy Tower Master Nalan said with a smile on his face. He wasn't puzzled by the question Lin Yuan posed. In fact, most of the strong beings from the myriad clans in the two-dimensional world were curious about that mysterious strong being from Shuyu ancient country. Who wouldn't be curious about a being who remained unnoticed before striking and then overwhelmed everything with his power? According to the latest rankings of the strong, this mysterious being is currently ranked 6th, Deputy Tower Master Nalan said as a holographic screen appeared before him, which he then pushed towards Lin Yuan. 6th? Lin Yuan looked down. Yes, Deputy Tower Master Nalan nodded. Actually, I think this mysterious being could rank even higher because he has made so few moves. And having never clashed with other major power level beings, just overpowering Tuoba ancient god and other special beings in one fight isn't enough to fully demonstrate his strength, Deputy Tower Master Nalan explained. The rankings of the strong in the two-dimensional world were based on many factors. Many strong beings had gone through countless battles, and their personal strength could be very well demonstrated, so their rankings were much more precise. But for that mysterious strong being from Shuyu ancient country, having only chased and killed Tuoba ancient god and other special beings in that one battle, the ranking based on that was bound to be a bit lower. Even so, the fact that this mysterious strong being was ranked 6th already illustrated the impact of that one battle. Chapter 733. 4 Divine Kings? Lin Yuan scanned the rankings briefly, and the number 1 among the myriad tribes' powerhouses still belonged to the 4 divine kings. The myriad tribes' powerhouses ranking had been out for over 100 years now, with significant differences between the top 9 powerhouses of the early days and those of the present, almost a complete turnover. Only the four divine kings had always held the first place since the ranking's inception, never wavering. The most famous battle involving the four divine kings was undoubtedly the one where they swept through the Tianyu clan, a formidable peak clan that was actually breached. That battle laid the foundation for the four divine kings' revered reputation, which had a more significant impact on the outside world, almost causing a rampage among several ancestors of the Tianyu clan. The four divine kings are indeed very, very strong, Nalen, the Tower Deputy Master, said. And what's more, the four divine kings are different from us. Different? Lin Yuan was somewhat curious. He knew very little about the four divine kings, this legend of a level 11 perfect life from the Star Alliance, who was considered the most likely to become one of the ultimate 11th rank lives in the contemporary universe. I just heard about this myself, Nalen, the Tower Deputy Master, pondered. All of us powerhouses, whether human evolvers or powerhouses from different species, once we fall into the two-dimensional world, our forms and sizes are downscaled and we take on the appearance of the mainstream humanoids of that world. That's right. Lin Yuan nodded. Some special beings, originally tens of thousands to millions of miles in size, but when falling into the two-dimensional world, are directly reduced to the range of 1 to 3 meters. The shape follows suit too. No bizarre or grotesque forms would appear. Did you know why the four divine kings have 4 arms? Nalen, the Tower Deputy Master, said. 4 arms. Lin Yuan looked at Nalen, the Tower Deputy Master. All myriad tribes' powerhouses, after plunging into the two-dimensional world, will converge towards the standard humanoid form of the world. 1 head, 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth. But the 4 divine kings, they have 4 arms, continued Nalen, the Tower Deputy Master. Could it be? Lin Yuan had a vague guess in his mind. The extra 2 arms of the 4 divine kings are in fact supreme weapons, which have merged with the body of the 4 divine kings. Even the two-dimensional world cannot fully suppress the spirit of the weapons. Hence the 4 divine kings can have 4 arms, explained Nalen, the Tower Deputy Master. I see, Lin Yuan realized. When Lin Yuan first saw that the 4 divine kings possessed 4 arms, he had his doubts but did not give it further thought, assuming that the additional limbs were an anomaly. So, the 4 divine kings are different from us. Their strength not only stems from their own powers, but is also augmented by the supreme weapons, Nalen, the Tower Deputy Master, disclosed. The key difference between Lin Yuan's pitch-black iron rod and the weapons of the 4 divine kings was that the latter's weapons were a perfect fit for them. After all, the 4 divine kings' supreme weapons originated from the outside world, not randomly obtained within the two-dimensional world. A supreme weapon that perfectly suits oneself could exert a power beyond the imagination of other powerhouses. That was why, besides breaking through the Tianyu clan, the 4 divine kings had not made another move in the past 100 years, yet still occupied the top spot in the rankings. No wonder. Lin Yuan now also felt some pressure. With 200 years left before the heavenly gates opening, could he truly surpass the 4 divine kings who had a perfect match with their supreme weapons? More than 100 years ago, the Tianyu clan must have realized this and sought desperately to eliminate the 4 divine kings in their weaker days. Lin Yuan thought. That great battle involved not only the Tianyu clan but also the covert support of other peak clans. Nalen, the Tower Deputy Master, said. In fact, some of the supreme beings of human civilization had also watched secretly, ready to seize the chance to kill the 4 divine kings if possible. But the unfortunate defeat of the Tianyu clan turned the hearts of the powerhouses of human civilization cold, and they decided not to continue their attack. In this new ranking, that mysterious powerhouse from Shuyu ancient country has moved up to 6th, and the Ho Zhu from the prison tribe has fallen to 10th, said Nalen, the Tower Deputy Master, after glancing at the new rankings and shaking his head slightly. Ho Zhu of the prison tribe, merely a normal 11th rank life, managed to remain in the top 9 powerhouse positions for over 100 years, thanks to a crimson greatsword. Two-dimensional world. In a desolate desert, a man wielding a crimson greatsword sat alone. My ranking has fallen to 10th, clearly, I'm no longer first tier in terms of publicized combat power. The man was Ho Zhu of the prison tribe. Everyone outside thinks my position among the top 9 powerhouses is based on luck, entirely due to the light of this wondrous artifact, thought Ho Zhu of the prison tribe quietly. The 4 divine kings also relied on a supreme weapon, but no one questioned their strength. Without the supreme weapon, the 4 divine kings would still be level 11 perfect legendary lives. And the weapon of the 4 divine kings did not come from the two-dimensional world. It was brought from the Star Alliance. What about him, Ho Zhu? He was just a lucky fellow. Without this crimson greatsword, Ho Zhu was nothing. Therefore, he had always been the most gossiped among the top 9 powerhouses. Now that Ho Zhu had fallen out of the top 9, it was almost predictable that he would face a lot of ridicule. Over the years, I've given up everything and concentrated solely on the comprehension of this crimson greatsword, delving into 9 major killing techniques within it. Ho Zhu sneered. The profound mystery and the terrifying murderous intent contained in the greatsword even made Ho Zhu tremble. Just wait. 200 years later, when the heavenly gate opens, I will show you all the true might of Ho Zhu. Ho Zhu took a deep breath. As an 11th rank life, he certainly understood the principle of restraint. All myriad tribes powerhouses who have fallen into this two-dimensional world had one ultimate goal, the opening of the heavenly gate. And Ho Zhu was no exception. He too awaited that day. Chapter 734. The Silent Xia Qin Supreme Being. Virtual World. Nayland curiously asked, Galaxy Master, in the two-dimensional world, you must have entered the Witch Ancestor realm, right? Lin Yuan was the greatest genius in human civilization history, with an undisputedly brilliant aptitude. Thus, Nayland was almost certain Lin Yuan had become a Witch Ancestor. It is known that in the two-dimensional world for over 100 years, a significant number of 10th rank lives have only just entered the Witch Ancestor realm. At the initial advent in the two-dimensional world, 8th layer life, 9th rank life, 10th rank life, and 11th rank life all started at the same point. But as time elapsed, the disparities between them began to widen, and the gaps continued to grow. Yes, Lin Yuan nodded. Witch Ancestor 18th realm, that is still a Witch Ancestor. In that case, our human civilization's 11th rank evolvers have compiled 17 methods of cultivation for stages beyond the Witch Ancestor realm. I'll send them to you to see. Nayland immediately sent them to Lin Yuan. In the two-dimensional world, where special life forms prevail and human civilization is relatively weak, it is crucial to stay united. Sharing cultivation methods with each other is a norm, and as for the competition when the Sky Gate opens, as long as the majority of those who leave the two-dimensional world are human evolvers, then human civilization would be considered victorious. However, the prospect doesn't look great at the moment. Not to mention those hidden figures like the mysterious powerhouse from Shuyu ancient country. Just the 4 divine kings alone have almost guaranteed their spots for leaving during the first Sky Gate opening. Thank you. Lin Yuan glanced at the cultivation methods Nayland had sent over, his expression pensive. The creators of these post-Witch Ancestor cultivation methods were essentially 11th rank beings of human civilization, each an outstanding genius of their era, and their explored cultivation methods significantly moved Lin Yuan. They moved him more than those native Witch Ancestor cultivation methods from the two-dimensional world. It's just that my cultivation method might not suit you guys. Lin Yuan looked up at Nayland after skimming through the texts, his voice hesitant. The Witch Ancestor cultivation skill Lin Yuan was practicing was developed using his Against Heaven's understanding, tailored to his conditions. The advantage is that it could tap into the potential of every stage of his physical development, but the downside, it was uniquely suited to Lin Yuan himself. Other powerhouses could not emulate it even if they wanted to. In fact, the multiple post-Witch Ancestor cultivation methods that Nayland had compiled were also explored and developed by many Tier 11 evolvers based on their conditions. They also didn't have any universal applicability, but Lin Yuan, with his Against Heaven's understanding, could observe these methods from the most fundamental perspective. Don't worry. Nayland shook his head. Although Lin Yuan, you're the greatest genius in human civilization history, you're still just a 10th rank life. Compared to 11th rank evolvers, your perspective is narrower and closer. Once the Sky Gate opens, I will specifically organize some cultivation methods for you all, Lin Yuan said thoughtfully. For now, the most important task for him was to enhance his strength as much as possible before the Sky Gate opened in 200 years. Creating specialized cultivation methods for other human evolvers would be a deviation from his goals. Such a task could wait till 200 years later. By then, Lin Yuan should have more free time. Deep underground. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, his presence undulating like a fathomless abyss. At a certain moment, Lin Yuan, like a steadfast rock emitting no aura, then suddenly erupted like a tsunami, horrifying fluctuations of vital energy spreading in all directions. If not for being underground, the disturbance could have alarmed countless myriad tribes' powerhouses within thousands of miles. Which ancestor 19th realm? Lin Yuan slowly opened his eyes, his face breaking into a slight smile. After reviewing other 11th rank evolvers' explored paths in which ancestor cultivation from human civilization, Lin Yuan's own accumulation had finally reached a qualitative breakthrough, advancing into the Witch Ancestor's 19th realm. My current power is 60% stronger than in the Witch Ancestor 18th realm. To hunt down Tuoba Ancient God again, it would take no more than 2 hours to penetrate his mystical inner armor and kill him. Lin Yuan felt the surged strength within his body, satisfied with the result. I wonder how strong the 4 divine kings are now? Lin Yuan thought to himself. The 4 divine kings possessed supreme weapons perfectly suited to them. Under such circumstances, utilizing these supreme weapons to comprehend the force of this world would likely far surpass other myriad tribes' powerhouses. It's time to go back. Lin Yuan stood up and left the depths of the underground, heading back to the Luochuan gathering area. Luochuan gathering area. Jia Rangu stood there respectfully. Master! Jia Rangu spoke respectfully. Just now, Jia Rangu had again received news from Shuiyu Tavern, and the source of the rampant bloody traces within Shuiyu ancient country had been completely resolved. According to Shuiyu Tavern, a certain supreme powerhouse within Shuiyu ancient country had acted to suppress a group of powerhouses causing slaughter within the country. Shuiyu Tavern knew nothing about this supreme powerhouse, but Jia Rangu faintly realized. Could this be related to Lin Yuan? Especially since this great battle coincided with Lin Yuan's disappearance, and the matter had occurred after he had discussed it with Lin Yuan? Thinking of the terrifying traces on the battleground reported by Shuiyu Tavern, Jia Rangu couldn't help but shiver. Could that truly be the power a person could possess? I need to continue my closed-door cultivation. Unless it's something important, there's no need to disturb me. Lin Yuan glanced at Jia Rangu, instructing him. The changes in Jia Rangu's emotions were clear as daylight in Lin Yuan's eyes. But Lin Yuan didn't care. Even if the identity of that mysterious powerhouse from Shuiyu ancient country were exposed, how would it matter if it were revealed to be him? Currently, his identity in the Luochuan gathering place has no connection whatsoever with his identity as the Milky Way Galaxy Master in the main universe. If it's exposed, so be it. Moreover, Lin Yuan did not believe Jia Rangu would dare to spread their suspicions. In a world where phantasm reality alternated, 9 breaths surged out, forming 9 towering figures, precisely the 9 supreme beings of human civilization. With our human civilization's heritage treasure, Void Realm World, to replicate that two-dimensional world, even if it's only 10 to 20% similar, it's enough for us to deduce the cultivation methods, said the Feather Butterfly Supreme Being. The sheet from the Taiyuan relic was unfathomable, and even a supreme being dared not let themselves be drawn into it, risking a plunge into that two-dimensional world. But it doesn't mean there are no methods if supreme beings dare not risk it personally. For instance, human civilization could use the Void Realm World, simulate the two-dimensional world within the sheet, which allows supreme beings to enter and perceive its fundamental power. Void Realm World is one of the heritages of human civilization, capable of replicating and simulating the myriad rules of the main universe. Indeed, the two-dimensional world within the sheet completely retracted without giving away much aura. However, the treasure of human civilization Void Realm World can still replicate it through the little aura available. The two-dimensional world replicated by Void Realm World naturally can't compare to the real one, with a similarity of only about 10 to 20%. But that's enough. Supreme beings can enter at will, and from the height of ultimate beings, even a 1% degree of similarity can help deduce many things. Humph! That old monster from the Star Alliance has merged a supreme weapon into that youngster of the 4 divine kings, rendering him nearly invincible in the two-dimensional world. Now we have utilized the Void Realm world to deduce the cultivation methods for our human civilization's evolvers. So far, we have conclusively deduced up to the Witch Ancestor 16th Realm cultivation methods, said the Void God Supreme Being with a smile. The cultivation methods they deduced were not restricted in any way and should offer considerable aid to human evolvers in the two-dimensional world. At the very least, they can serve as a guiding light, accelerating the cultivation pace of human civilization evolvers. All right, I need to go back to instruct those juniors. The Xia Qin Supreme Being's form disappeared. The other Supreme Beings exchanged glances and gradually vanished as well. Milky Way main star. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. Xia Qin Supreme Being wants me to meet him? Lin Yuan opened his eyes, slightly surprised. In this past century, Xia Qin Supreme Being should have been entangled by some matter and would not usually contact him. There must be something, he thought. Lin Yuan immediately connected his consciousness to the virtual world and entered Xia Qin Supreme Being's personal world. Supreme Being. Lin Yuan bowed to Xia Qin Supreme Being, who was sitting on the throne. Lin Yuan. Xia Qin Supreme Being looked at Lin Yuan, a smile emerging on his face. How is your cultivation in the two-dimensional world? Not bad, Lin Yuan replied. In just over 100 years, Lin Yuan had caught up with those at the peak of Tier 11 legendaries, which was indeed impressive. Indeed, those who could step into Tier 11 perfection were beings with heavenly defying talents and attributes, unique and unparalleled in the vast universe. Next, I will explain to you the subsequent cultivation methods of the Witch Ancestor. Xia Qin Supreme Being got straight to the point. The Supreme Being explaining the subsequent cultivation methods of the Witch Ancestor? Lin Yuan was slightly stunned, his face filled with anticipation. Although unaware of how the Supreme Being deduced the following Witch Ancestor cultivation methods, without entering the two-dimensional world himself and perceiving the essence of the power inside, it was nearly impossible to decipher the specific cultivation methods. But since Xia Qin Supreme Being said so, he must be very confident. The cultivation of the Witch Ancestor period starts from the first realm. Xia Qin Supreme Being quickly outlined the cultivation methods from the first to the 6th realm. How about this? Xia Qin Supreme Being looked at Lin Yuan. Could you delve deeper? Lin Yuan thought for a moment. The methods from the first to the 6th realm Xia Qin Supreme Being outlined had indeed given Lin Yuan some insight. But the impact was not significant, especially since Lin Yuan was already at the 19th realm of the Witch Ancestor. The cultivation methods arranged by Deputy Tower Master Nalen had allowed Lin Yuan to break through smoothly to the 19th realm because of the accumulation of experience, needing only that final push. Even without the cultivation methods arranged by Nalen, Lin Yuan would have breakthrough to the 19th realm very soon. Delve deeper. Xia Qin Supreme Being was slightly surprised but did not hesitate and continued to explain the cultivation methods from the 7th to the 14th realm of the Witch Ancestor. Even deeper, please, said Lin Yuan after listening, his expression serious, as the methods from the 7th to the 14th realm indeed provided him with great insights. But it was still not enough. Deeper still. Xia Qin Supreme Being's eyebrows twitched, already at the 14th realm of the Witch Ancestor, and yet that wasn't deep enough? However, since Lin Yuan wanted to hear more in depth, Xia Qin Supreme Being said nothing further and laid out the ultimate essence of power from the 15th to the 16th realm of the Witch Ancestor. Could we continue a bit deeper? Lin Yuan, upon hearing this, had some revelations. Deeper still. Xia Qin Supreme Being couldn't help but say, "What level of cultivation methods are you looking to hear?" What level of cultivation methods? Lin Yuan looked at Xia Qin Supreme Being. Do you have those of the Witch Ancestor's 20th realm? The Witch Ancestor's 20th realm? Xia Qin Supreme Being was filled with surprise and doubt, examining Lin Yuan for a while before falling into a deep silence. Chapter 735. The Resolute Supreme Being. Xiaqin Supreme Being looked at Lin Yuan, his mind racing with thoughts. As a 12th rank life, how fast could Xiaqin Supreme Being's cognitive speed possibly be? In just an instant, he deduced the many possible reasons why Lin Yuan would inquire about the witch ancestor's 20th realm. The most likely reason he came up with was that Lin Yuan had already reached the witch ancestor 19th realm. It would be normal for someone at the witch ancestor 19th realm to want to learn about the mysteries of the witch ancestor's 20th realm. But that reason seemed too incredible to believe. Witch ancestor 19th realm? In the two-dimensional world, it was debatable whether any of those mythic perfect level 11 beings had reached that level. Lin Yuan was merely a 10th rank life, no matter how heaven-defying he was. Surely there had to be some limits? Beyond that possibility, Xiaqin Supreme Being also deduced many other potential reasons. For example, Lin Yuan might want to see further ahead, know the general idea of the witch ancestor's 20th realm, or he could just be asking out of pure curiosity, among others. What level of witch ancestor are you now? Xiaqin Supreme Being, after a moment of silence, couldn't help but ask. The two-dimensional world within white paper could block a Supreme Being's probing. So even Xiaqin Supreme Being couldn't determine Lin Yuan's specific realm level. I am now. Lin Yuan pondered for a moment and didn't hide the truth. 19th realm. When facing a Supreme Being from his clan, instances like the door to the myriad realms and the mysterious gourd, which were opportunities far surpassing 12th rank, Lin Yuan would choose to conceal them. As for everything else, there was no need for concealment. In the world of the two-dimensional, one must accurately reveal their strength to receive guidance from Xiaqin Supreme Being. Lin Yuan held great admiration for Supreme Beings. Every life form that had become a Supreme Being was extremely resolute. Merely relying on innate talent was not enough to reach the ultimate level. Really, at the witch ancestor 19th realm? Xiaqin Supreme Being looked at Lin Yuan, although he had already anticipated it in his mind. But, when Lin Yuan personally confirmed it, Xiaqin Supreme Being was still somewhat shocked. The 9 Supreme Beings of human civilization had joined hands to replicate a two-dimensional world within Void Realm world, descending within it to carry out deductions for nearly 100 years, before they finally arrived at the cultivation methods spanning from the 1st to the 16th realm of witch ancestor. And here was Lin Yuan who had, on his own, stepped into the witch ancestor 19th realm. Admittedly, the two-dimensional world that the 9 Supreme Beings of human civilization descended into, created forcibly by Void Realm world, was only somewhat similar to the actual one. And the cultivation methods they deduced were not limited to any single being but could be popularized to some extent. In terms of difficulty, it was definitely higher than the cultivation methods figured out by the powerhouses within the actual two-dimensional world. But they were Supreme Beings. They were ultimate beings. They were 12th rank lives. The insight and eyesight of a Supreme Being were far superior to those of a Tier 11 being, let alone Lin Yuan who was merely 10th rank. Under these circumstances, it was understandable that those perfect level 11 legendary beings would explore up to the witch ancestor 18th realm and 19th realm. But Lin Yuan? You? Xiaqin Supreme Being sighed. You really surprised me. Initially, when one of Lin Yuan's avatars fell into the two-dimensional world, Xiaqin Supreme Being was extremely worried that it might affect Lin Yuan's prospects of reaching the ultimate level. The collaboration of human civilization's 9 Supreme Beings to stimulate Void Realm world and replicate the two-dimensional world was not without great cost. Nevertheless, Xiaqin Supreme Being insisted on acting out of concern that Lin Yuan's avatar might actually be lost in the two-dimensional world. But now it seemed that Xiaqin Supreme Being's concerns were completely unnecessary. If Lin Yuan truly possessed the strength of witch ancestor 19th realm, his life in that two-dimensional world must be quite comfortable. Indeed, it was not long ago that I barely stepped into the witch ancestor 19th realm, Lin Yuan said immediately. Not long ago? Barely. Xiaqin Supreme Being glanced at Lin Yuan. If you could cultivate to the witch ancestor 19th realm in such a short period of time, there was no need for our human civilization to actively seek the Star Alliance, Xiaqin Supreme Being stated with a smile on his face. Seek the Star Alliance? Lin Yuan was slightly startled. The Star Alliance was a coalition of many unique lifeforms within the cosmic starry skies, counted among the same level of power as the grand alliances of peak clans like human civilization. Without seeking the Star Alliance, it will be quite difficult to take out the treasures from the two-dimensional world, Xiaqin Supreme Being said. So far, the 4 divine kings of the Star Alliance are the ones most likely to go through the heavenly gate and return to the cosmic starry sky. The treasures attained by the evolvers of our human civilization in the two-dimensional world can be brought out only with the help of the 4 divine kings, explained Xiaqin Supreme Being. Those treasures would only show their greatest value once out of the two-dimensional world. However, human civilization's evolvers were not dominant in the two-dimensional world. At least based on the current situation, they were unable to compete with formidable beings like the 4 divine kings for a chance to enter the heavenly gate. But now, upon learning of Lin Yuan's strength, hope suddenly rose in Xiaqin Supreme Being's heart. Given Lin Yuan's current realm, even if he still wasn't a match for the 4 divine kings, he could completely set his sights on the opening of the heavenly gate after the next one. So that's how it is. Lin Yuan nodded. To beg the Star Alliance to ask the 4 divine kings would surely come with a greater price, as it was a plea after all. But human civilization had no other choice, given that in the two-dimensional world, the advantages of special life forms were infinitely amplified. Not just human civilization, but the insect race, the Tianyu clan, and other peak clans were similarly unable to compete with the special life forms of the Star Alliance in the two-dimensional world. Of course, if you can leave the two-dimensional world through the heavenly gate later on and take out those treasures from our human civilization, you certainly won't be doing it for nothing. For each treasure, based on its value, you will get a 50% share. Chapter 736. Xiaqin Supreme Being immediately said, just taking out the extraordinary object and giving away 50% of its value does seem extravagant. But we must understand that if the extraordinary object isn't taken out, it's essentially a zero gain for human civilization. And this 50% value is not for the Star Alliance. It's still for our own people. Xiaqin Supreme Being is quite willing to do so. No problem. Lin Yuan immediately said. This is practically a giveaway. It's just that I don't know if I can actually enter the heavenly gate. Lin Yuan said with some hesitation. With your cultivation speed, as long as you avoid the 4 divine kings and focus on the 2nd and 3rd openings of the heavenly gate, there's still a great chance. Xiaqin Supreme Being said. Avoid the 4 divine kings? Lin Yuan's heart stirred. Whether in the two-dimensional world or the main universe, the might of the 4 divine kings was immense. Yes, the supreme weapon of the 4 divine kings suits him perfectly. Even if your realm is higher and your strength greater, the overall combat power is another matter. With your potential and speed of cultivation, there's no need to compete with the 4 divine kings. The risk would be too great. Xiaqin Supreme Being said, shaking his head. Understood. Lin Yuan's thoughts were already in alignment with Xiaqin Supreme Being's. Unless he was absolutely certain, Lin Yuan would not take risks to compete for a spot in the first opening of the heavenly gate. Time was on Lin Yuan's side. The longer the time, the greater the advantage his against heaven's understanding would bring. In just over 100 years, Lin Yuan was close to catching up to those Tier 11 perfect legendary lives. In another 10,000 years, Lin Yuan himself didn't know to what extent he could reach. Right? Since you've already reached the Witch Ancestor 19th realm, our derived cultivation method won't mean much to you. However, you can try to comprehend the essence of the power that was captured from the Void Realm world, a replica of the two-dimensional world. Xiaqin Supreme Being said. The essence of the power captured through the Void Realm world was the basis for the 9 Supreme Beings to derive the Ancestor Witch cultivation skill. Usually, such an essence of power wouldn't yield much insight even to those at the 10th or 11th rank of life. But after seeing Lin Yuan's performance, Xiaqin Supreme Being had a different opinion. After all, letting Lin Yuan comprehend it wouldn't be a loss anyway. The essence of power? Lin Yuan's eyes lit up. In the two-dimensional world, understanding the essence of its power was slow due to the world's inherent suppression. But outside, without the constraints of the two-dimensional world, observing the essence of power could yield significant benefits. Right, your true body is on the Milky Way main star, yes? I will get Yudi to guide a thread of Void Realm World power for your enlightenment. Xia Qin Supreme Being said. Thank you, Supreme Being, Lin Yuan said with great appreciation. Having the Feather Butterfly Supreme Being run an errand like this was probably an honor few in human civilization's history had received. In the depths of the cosmic starry sky, a mysterious scroll slowly unfurled. Numerous towering figures stood in the vicinity. Xia Qin, how is it? Have you given it some thought? A colossal figure, stretching billions of miles high, transmitted a message to Xia Qin Supreme Being. Your human civilization has a decent relationship with our star alliance. For the opening of the heavenly gate within the two-dimensional world, as long as you're willing to give up 60% of the extraordinary objects, I can have the 4 divine kings bring out the extraordinary objects found by your civilization's evolvers. How about it? This deal is very lucrative. For the insect race and the Tianyu clan, I demand 70 to 80% of the extraordinary objects. The colossal figure looked at Xia Qin Supreme Being, himself a 12th rank life leading countless special beings and rivaling several peak clan forces. I'll give it some thought, Xia Qin Supreme Being said calmly. Give it some thought? The colossal figure was slightly startled. Xia Qin, you weren't like this before. The figure was somewhat puzzled. He had just negotiated with the Xia Qin Supreme Being not long ago, who had appeared quite enthusiastic. But now, the colossal figure clearly sensed a change in attitude. Your asking price is too high, Xia Qin Supreme Being, now knowing Lin Yuan's true strength, was much more confident and was only stalling the other party. If the price is high, we can negotiate, the colossal figure immediately said. Then I'll give it some thought, Xia Qin Supreme Being repeated, bringing the conversation back to square one. All right, you think about it, the colossal figure said no more. But time is limited, and if you wait too long, it won't be just 60% of the extraordinary objects. The extraordinary objects within the two-dimensional world had extremely concealed auras. Even for beings as powerful as the 4 divine kings, they could only recognize them when they got close and used many methods. Therefore, as long as the human civilization's evolvers hid their harvested extraordinary objects in secluded places, even if the 4 divine kings slaughtered them all, they still wouldn't be able to obtain the extraordinary objects. Outside the Milky Way main star, an ephemeral presence coalesced, taking the form of the Feather Butterfly Supreme Being. This youngster, he actually cultivated to the witch ancestor 19th realm? Feather Butterfly Supreme Being looked towards the distant Milky Way main star, still pondering the matter Xia Qin Supreme Being had told her. How exactly did he cultivate? Without the high-level perspective and understanding of power of an 11th rank life, how could he possibly have such a rapid cultivation speed? Feather Butterfly Supreme Being was astounded yet soon smiled. But this is good. At least in that two-dimensional world, my human civilization now has its own peak combat power. Void Realm World. With a slight thought from Feather Butterfly Supreme Being, strands of ethereal power, crossing infinite light years, descended upon the Milky Way main star, more precisely in the Star-Lord's Great Hall. Chapter 737. Star-Lord's Great Hall. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. Suddenly, wisps of ethereal power began to converge. What is this? Lin Yuan quickly opened his eyes. The clan suppression weapon of our human civilization, the power of the Void Realm World. The Void Realm World, famed for being able to replicate anything capable of mimicking the countless rules of the universe, combined with the land beyond, significantly boosted the cultivation speed of 10th rank evolvers of human civilization. It was said that one of the 9 supreme beings of human civilization, the Feather Butterfly Supreme Being, acquired her supreme evolution path from the Void Realm World. The Void Realm World originated before human civilization's long period of dormant years, during that unprecedented greatest opportunity, when countless treasures and heritages fell like rain into the universe. Threads of illusory power continued to gather and swirl, faintly outlining the complete image of a miniature two-dimensional world before Lin Yuan. So this is the true appearance of that two-dimensional world? Lin Yuan observed carefully. The Taiyang divine spirit of Lin Yuan delved into that two-dimensional world, and for him it was difficult to fully sense the entirety of the two-dimensional world. It was akin to the illusion of being deep in the mountains, unaware of the surroundings. However, Lin Yuan now had a concrete concept of this two-dimensional world. The fundamental power of the two-dimensional world. So this is what it's like. Lin Yuan observed closely, as the Taiyang divine spirit felt the true breath of the two-dimensional world within it, the direct experience reflecting off the complete two-dimensional world itself. Your aptitude is against the heavens, sensing the essence of the mysterious world's power. Your own accumulation is slowly growing. Compared to the supreme beings of human civilization, who could only sense the overall aura of the two-dimensional world individually, Lin Yuan's Tao primordial spirit was within the two-dimensional world. Comparing the two, his gains were much greater than those of the supreme beings. No, that's not right. How come I feel that the two-dimensional world replicated by the void realm world is incomplete, as if it's just a portion? Lin Yuan was slightly startled in his heart. With the Taiyang divine spirit as a reference in the real two-dimensional world, Lin Yuan immediately realized that the two-dimensional world replicated by the void realm world was vaguely incomplete. This was somewhat unbelievable to Lin Yuan. Given the depth of the two-dimensional world, it was normal for the void realm world to be unable to replicate it completely. The Xiaqin Supreme being also specifically mentioned to Lin Yuan that the fidelity of the two-dimensional world replicated by the void realm world was only 1/10 to 1/20 that of the true two-dimensional world. But fidelity and completeness were two different matters. For example, when trying to replicate a famous painting, the copy might come nowhere close to the original in terms of the details of the artistry. But at least in terms of size, the copy should not be much different from the real painting. Yet now, the two-dimensional world replicated by the void realm world seemed much smaller than the true two-dimensional world. There are two possibilities. One is that I perceived it incorrectly. The other is that within the two-dimensional world, there are vast hidden spaces that the void realm world cannot detect and thus cannot replicate. Lin Yuan thought to himself. That two-dimensional world. Lin Yuan looked up in a certain direction. Precisely the final resting place of the white paper. Around the white paper, any matter would dematerialize on its own. If not for the intervention of a supreme being, likely 1% of this universe would turn into a scroll. Forget it. What kind of secrets are hidden within that two-dimensional world, and what does it have to do with me? Lin Yuan pondered for a moment, no longer dwelling on it. His most urgent task was to enhance his strength as much as possible. Then, when the heavenly gate opens, defeat the other competitors, step out of the two-dimensional world, and return to the main universe. Two-dimensional world. Lin Yuan, while sensing the essence of heaven and earth, took out a silver mirror and gently stroked it. How exactly is this mirror used? Lin Yuan scrutinized it carefully. According to the information he had obtained, this silver mirror had belonged to a powerful member of the Ice Clan before it fell into the hands of the Tuoba ancient god. That Ice Clan powerhouse had possessed the mirror for decades and may have discovered some of its functions. However, after dying at the hands of the Tuoba ancient god, the true body of that Ice Clan member went into seclusion, and even Lin Yuan, concealing his identity, could not make contact. If blood doesn't work, let's try mental power. Lin Yuan carefully extended a wisp of mental energy. Within the two-dimensional world, even though all extraordinary powers were suppressed, mental energy, being the most fundamental force of life, stands apart from the physical strength and blood. Even in this two-dimensional world, the presence of mental power was still allowed. It was just like other extraordinary powers, mental energy was also greatly suppressed. As a practitioner at the Witch Ancestor 19th Realm, Lin Yuan had accumulated a fair amount of mental energy, allowing him the confidence to expend some on the mirror. If it were other myriad tribes' powerhouses, the loss of a wisp of mental energy might lead to a decline in condition and a considerable reduction in strength. Is this mirror absorbing mental energy? Lin Yuan's spirit was lifted as his mental energy came into contact with the mirror surface, experiencing a slight pull. Just as Lin Yuan was about to expend part of his mental energy to figure out the purpose of the silver mirror once and for all, Jia Rangu appeared outside, wanting to see Lin Yuan. "Come in." Lin Yuan put away the silver mirror and said, "Master." Jia Rangu spoke respectfully. "What's the matter?" Lin Yuan looked at Jia Rangu. Before going into seclusion, he had instructed that he should not be disturbed unless it was important. "The royal family of Shuiyu ancient country wants to meet with the master," Jia Rangu quickly said. "The royal family of Shuiyu ancient country?" Lin Yuan shook his head and said, "I'm not interested." If it had been at the beginning when he first arrived, Lin Yuan might have been quite wary of the royal family of Shuiyu ancient country. But now, not to mention the royal family of Shuiyu ancient country, even if the royal families of the 12 ancient countries stood together, Lin Yuan wouldn't bat an eyelid. "The royal family of Shuiyu ancient country says they have a precious treasure to present," Jia Rangu added. "A precious treasure?" Lin Yuan's heart suddenly stirred. Chapter 738. 200 years later. For a myriad tribe's powerhouse like Lin Yuan, the only treasure of value in the two-dimensional world is an exotic item. Of course, the most precious is certainly the two-dimensional world itself, that is, the white paper. But even supreme beings cannot refine that white paper. The powerhouses trapped within naturally wouldn't harbor any thoughts about it. As for the exotic item owned by Shuiyu ancient country, according to Lin Yuan, it was a blood rain tea tree. However, that blood rain tea tree had been taken away by several powerhouses who had stepped into the witch ancestor realm nearly 100 years ago. The miraculous aspect of the blood rain tea tree is no secret among the upper echelons of Shuiyu ancient country. Upon realization of the value of exotic items within the two-dimensional world, the blood rain tea tree would definitely not have been overlooked and was eyed by powerhouses early on. It was simply beyond Shuiyu ancient country's ability to retain. Could it be that Shuiyu ancient country still hides other exotic items? Lin Yuan grew interested. When the royal family of Shuiyu ancient country declared they had a treasure to offer, Lin Yuan naturally thought along these lines. So be it. Let's meet then. Having made up his mind, Lin Yuan thought it was only appropriate to see for himself since it concerned an exotic item. Yes. Jia Rangu immediately responded. Since the master has agreed to meet, I shall notify them at once. Jia Rangu respectfully withdrew. Without Lin Yuan's permission, even the royal family of Shuiyu ancient country would not dare to enter the vicinity of Luochuan gathering place uninvited. Over the years, even though Lin Yuan rarely took action, just the occasional demonstration was enough to deter Shuiyu ancient country. After Jia Rangu went to notify the royal family of Shuiyu ancient country, there was some time before their audience. Lin Yuan continued to take out the silver mirror and pour his spirit will into it. Hum, 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 accompanied by Lin Yuan using up a great amount of spirit will. The silver mirror in front of him gradually revealed its extraordinary nature. Faint silver radiance began to emerge. At the same time, Lin Yuan actually felt an extremely familiar fluctuation. Spatial fluctuation. It was purely spatial fluctuation, not involving any space rules. This is promising. Seeing this, Lin Yuan continued to maintain the infusion of his spirit will. Only a powerhouse in the witch ancestor 19th realm could possess such abundant spirit will. If it were someone in the 15th or 16th realm, they wouldn't even meet the prerequisite to activate this silver mirror. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, most of the day had gone by. Lin Yuan's brows slightly furrowed. Maintaining the infusion of spirit will, even Lin Yuan was feeling the strain. If this were to continue, it would likely impact his own strength. Just as Lin Yuan was contemplating whether to proceed. Swoosh! The silver mirror seemed to undergo a qualitative change. It began to float up slowly. The surface of the mirror rippled like mercury, creating gentle waves. What? Lin Yuan looked at the silver mirror floating up before him, a look of shock on his face. The fact that the mirror was floating did not surprise him. With his current strength, a full-force burst could also achieve brief levitation. It was simply a matter of letting one's blood and chi boil, unleashing a strong life magnetic field, thereby counteracting the force of gravity. What truly shocked Lin Yuan was the sensation of an independent space contained within the mirror. The space was not large, just about 10 square meters. But bear in mind, within the two-dimensional world, there is no concept of spatial depth. Everything is two-dimensional, everything is flat. And now, the space inside the mirror was akin to opening up a three-dimensional space within a two-dimensional plane, a notion utterly inconceivable, right? The direct size of my inner world has reached 2.331 billion miles in radius, and the number of layers in spatial layers exceeds 3 billion. Yet despite this, upon falling into this two-dimensional world, my inner world was instantly compressed into a sheet of paper. Its existence nullified. Lin Yuan inwardly marveled. And now, within the silver mirror, there actually existed a standalone space being maintained. Should this standalone space return to the main universe, and be completely unfolded, how vast would it become? Having the space in the mirror certainly does make things more convenient, Lin Yuan thought to himself, caressing the silver mirror over and over again. Although the space in the mirror was not large, it was more than enough to hold Lin Yuan's daily items, especially that pitch-black iron rod which was far too conspicuous to carry on his back. Now he could place the iron rod inside it. Whenever he wanted to use it, he could take it out in an instant. Furthermore, for Lin Yuan, the silver mirror possessed a crucial ability for safeguarding his life. If he ever encountered an attack he could not withstand, he could completely hide inside the silver mirror. As for the silver mirror's body exposed to the outside, the silver mirror being an exotic item, a 12-star strange treasure's weapon, within this two-dimensional world, equates to an indestructible existence. Even if supreme beings were to fall in here, limited by the suppression of the two-dimensional world, unable to exert their full power, they still could not shake the silver mirror. Not bad. Not bad at all. Lin Yuan's heart felt elated. With this silver mirror in his possession, his means had once again become much richer. First, I will place the iron rod inside. With a thought from Lin Yuan, the nearly 2-meter-long pitch-black iron rod disappeared on the spot, being stored in the spatial area within the silver mirror. He then also put the bronze compass into it, a strange object that was of great use to Lin Yuan. Normally, he had to constantly pay attention to it when carrying it on his person. It didn't take long for Lin Yuan to understand the capabilities of the silver mirror. Members of the imperial family of Shuyu ancient country hurriedly arrived. Coming to pay respects to Lin Yuan was the current emperor of the Shuyu ancient country, a middle-aged man with an air of great dignity. "Greetings to your excellency," said the Shuyu emperor, followed by several princes and ministers, with profound respect. The young man seated cross-legged in front of them. His mere presence imposed an almost invisible pressure that came from the essence of life itself, causing the group to bear an immense burden as sweat continuously beaded on their foreheads. Is this the mysterious powerhouse hidden within our Shuyu ancient country? The Shuyu emperor swallowed nervously. The recently concluded battle in the desolate northwestern region of the Shuyu ancient country not only spread widely among the powerhouses of the myriad clans, but also reached the ears of the local power, the Shuyu ancient country. Moreover, the royal family of Shuyu ancient country, based on numerous clues, had vaguely inferred that this mysterious powerhouse was none other than this young man before them. For over 100 years, a succession of unparalleled powerhouses emerged from the 12 ancient countries, causing the traditional ruling royal families to tremble with fear. If it were not utterly necessary, the Shuyu emperor truly did not wish to approach Lin Yuan because the pressure was too great to bear. "You may rise." Lin Yuan glanced at the respectful figures standing below, pausing slightly on one of them. That person was the prince of the northern town of Shuyu ancient country. Initially, Lin Yuan's acquisition of the bronze compass could be considered somewhat fated due to the prince's involvement. Had the northern town prince not been pursuing the Cloud Mountain 18 bandits, they would not have fled around the Luochuan gathering area. Even if Lin Yuan had set out to claim the bounty, he wouldn't have ventured too far from the Luochuan gathering area, and it was very likely he would have missed out on acquiring the bronze compass. Even in this two-dimensional world, cause and effect exist. It's just almost imperceptible, Lin Yuan thought to himself. In the Xiaoyu Evolution Tower, Lin Yuan had created an incarnation that was comprehending the cosmic aurora, rapidly enhancing his understanding of the law of causality. Now, meeting the northern town prince in such a manner could be considered a manifestation of karma. Excellency, these are the treasured items we wish to present. The Shuiyu Emperor took out 2 wooden boxes. One box was large, the other small. The large one was half a meter long, while the small box was only 10 centimeters in size. Zha Rangu swiftly approached, taking the 2 wooden boxes and respectfully placing them in front of Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan opened the 2 wooden boxes with interest. Inside the large box was an axe, carved entirely from jade, small and exquisite. A faint sharp aura circulated between the edges of the axe blade. Inside the small box was a piece of wood. Even without touching it, Lin Yuan could feel a tremendous vitality emanating from within the wood. These 2 treasures. Lin Yuan's expression was unchanged, but his heart was slightly excited. The small and exquisite jade axe was likely a supreme weapon, similar to the pitch-black iron rod. And that piece of wood was probably some 12-star rare treasures material which, if placed in the main universe, would likely provoke a supreme being to compete for it. Shuiyu Ancient Country. Lin Yuan glanced at the Shuiyu Emperor and his retinue below. Over the past century, the Shuiyu Ancient Country must have been scoured by numerous myriad tribes' powerhouses. Even so, they had still managed to retain these 2 treasures, clearly possessing some means. Speak. What do you want me to do? Lin Yuan asked indifferently. If the Shuiyu Emperor and his entourage had traveled thousands of miles to see him and even presented valuable exotic items, they definitely had a request to make. May I ask if Your Excellency is related to the chase that occurred a while back in the northwestern region of the ancient country? The Shuiyu Emperor asked cautiously. It was me, Lin Yuan answered directly. Now, with his power, there was no need to hide the truth. He simply admitted it outright. Your Excellency's power is truly heaven-reaching, the Shuiyu Emperor said with genuine amazement. The traces left by the great pursuit in the northwestern region had shattered the perceptions of the powerhouses within the Shuiyu royal family time and again. Just state your business, Lin Yuan said with a calm voice. Yes. The Shuiyu Emperor composed himself. I hope Your Excellency will provide protection for our Shuiyu ancient country. Protection. Lin Yuan glanced at the Shuiyu Emperor. He had anticipated this request. For indigenous ancient countries in the two-dimensional world, there was bound to be a pervasive sense of panic facing the countless powerful beings descending upon them. This is what you'll do. From now on, you can simply announce to the outside world that I am your protector, Lin Yuan stated. Just like that. The Shuiyu Emperor was somewhat stunned. With such an announcement, other powerhouses won't dare to take any undue action, Lin Yuan said softly. Among the myriad tribes' powerhouses, news traveled astoundingly fast. Once they learned that the mysterious powerhouse ranked 6th in the standings was protecting the Shuiyu ancient country, no one with 1,000 lives would dare to cause trouble. Yes. The Shuiyu Emperor, though puzzled, dared not show any sign of objection. 1 month later, after the Shuiyu Emperor returned to the capital and made the announcement, the Shuiyu Empire indeed became much calmer, with the previously unruly powerhouses of the myriad clans now significantly subdued. Many among the myriad clans' powerhouses unanimously considered Lin Yuan to be a legendary being at Tier 11 perfection from the main universe. Who would dare to misbehave within the protective scope of such an entity? Time flew swiftly, and Lin Yuan continued to immerse himself in cultivation. Nearly 200 years flashed by in the blink of an eye. Only 2 months remained until the once-in-10,000 years opening of the Heavenly Gate. Chapter 739 Majestic Heavenly Mountain. On the clear azure surface of the lake, stood a 4-armed man in silence. He was only 1.67 meters tall, yet his invisible aura was vast and immeasurable, his 4 arms hinting at a disharmony with the surrounding world. 4 divine kings. 4 divine kings. 4 divine kings. At the edge of the lake, dozens of figures whispered in a frenzied tone. 200 years ago, the power of the four divine kings had already far surpassed theirs. Another 200 years had passed, and the gap had only widened further. Is the celestial gate about to open? The four divine kings, the four-armed man, slowly opened his eyes, which were profound as he spoke calmly. According to the time in this two-dimensional world, in 2 months the celestial gate will open. The leading figure at the shore immediately responded. The celestial gate opens every 10,000 years, which is the grandest event in this two-dimensional world. Countless powerhouses will go to witness it. Before the arrival of the myriad tribes' powerhouses, only those at the Witch Emperor level were qualified to vie for entry, and only the Witch Ancestor level would dare to ensure they could reach the celestial gate. Now, with the intervention of the myriad tribes' powerhouses, the threshold has been raised infinitely. Understood. We will set off for the heavenly mountain in 1 day, the four divine kings said slowly. The heavenly mountain is the most towering peak in this known two-dimensional world. Every time the celestial gate opens, it appears above the heavenly mountain, which eventually led to its name. Yes. The dozens of figures at the lake's edge nodded immediately. For divine kings, we. The leading figure suddenly hesitated. Don't worry. You have handled so many trifles for me in this two-dimensional world. As long as I can leave, I will have a supreme being make a move and compensate you for your fundamental losses as much as possible. The four divine kings assured, looking at the many figures on the shore. These figures were all powerful and special beings, ancient gods who could dominate any part of the cosmic starry skies. Many thanks, for divine kings. We are in your debt, for divine kings. It is our honor to handle trifles for the four divine kings. The dozens of figures felt a slight relief in their hearts. Fundamental losses were irrevocable, but they could be compensated. As long as a supreme being made a move, and with a price paid, their losses could be reduced to a minimum. Of course, the supreme being was willing to act because the four divine kings would take all the extraordinary items from the two-dimensional world with them, and these items were partly their contribution. With the power of the four divine kings, who in this two-dimensional world could rival you? The leading figure spoke. The other figures agreed in unison. Although they were all 11th rank special beings, they knew they had no hope of leaving, first and foremost because they could not compete with the four divine kings before them. As for giving up this celestial gate opening and waiting for the next, that was a matter for the 9 strongest among them, not relevant to these somewhat mediocre special beings. And the current 9 strongest beings of the two-dimensional world all have similar status and are not subordinate to each other. Even if they were special beings, it was not possible. All right, you go down first and prepare, said the four divine kings. The figures quickly turned and left the lakeshore. Suddenly, the wide expanse of the lake was left with only the four divine kings. For 200 years, I've done my best to tap into the potential power of the ultimate weapon within me. In terms of combat power, I estimate that I have reached the upper limit of this two-dimensional world. The four divine kings thought silently to himself. Unlike the wonders of the two-dimensional world, his ultimate weapon had been brought from the outside world. This created a fundamental difference from the magical artifacts held by the myriad tribes' powerhouses. That is, the four divine kings' ultimate weapon had been refined. The other myriad tribes' powerhouses, even if they possessed magical artifacts as powerful as the four divine kings' ultimate weapon, could not refine them. They could only exert the lowest level of their power. Inside the two-dimensional world, many of the myriad tribes' powerhouses' techniques could not be executed, unable to refine magical artifacts. But the four divine kings' ultimate weapon had already been refined before entering this world. Even though having fallen into the two-dimensional world meant that many powers of the ultimate weapon were suppressed, the four divine kings were able to unite his mind with the refined weapon, and he slowly developed more of its powers. And this ultimate weapon was perfectly suited for the four divine kings, allowing the full extent of the highest combat power to be exerted. This time the celestial gate opens, I must be able to leave. The four divine kings was filled with confidence. As a level 11 perfect legendary being, he was already among the strongest of the many powerhouses of the myriad tribes, especially with his ultimate weapon in hand. With such a significant advantage, if he still couldn't leave, the four divine kings did not consider this a possibility. In a volcano before the boiling magma, a thin old man sat cross-legged, his figure like a seething flame, with the temperature around him soaring and the rock walls beginning to melt. "That's about enough. I have reached a limit." The thin old man exhaled lightly, and the temperatures nearby began to cool rapidly. "It's time to head to the heavenly mountain." The old man narrowed his eyes slightly. "This time, during the opening of the celestial gate, the only ones who can contend with me are a few old fellows, including the four divine kings." He brought a true ultimate weapon with him, indeed difficult to deal with. The thin old man stroked his chin, deep in thought. Normally, Tier 11 beings do not qualify to possess an ultimate weapon, even if they are level 11 perfect legendary beings. Even for the Peak clans, an ultimate weapon is a part of their heritage, and a Tier 11 lifeform possessing one might likely attract a supreme being to seize it. Chapter 740. Supreme beings, though disdainful of using their strength to bully the weak, will still not mind doing so if there is sufficient benefit. Unless the ultimate weapon originated from another supreme being's gift. The four divine kings are highly regarded in the Star Alliance, treated as the next ultimate existences to be nurtured, which is why they were bestowed with an ultimate weapon. But in this two-dimensional world, even if one refines an ultimate weapon, how much of its potential can actually be unearthed? When the time comes, a few of us old-timers can join forces and simply take care of the four divine kings first. The thin, small elder thought to himself. In terms of sheer combat power, the four divine kings were definitely stronger than him, and among all the myriad tribes' powerhouses who had descended this time, the four divine kings were most likely the strongest. But the strongest does not mean invincible. As long as they are not invincible, there is a possibility that the four divine kings can be dealt with suppressed. At least in the eyes of the thin elder, the four divine kings posed the greatest threat, and would certainly become his prime target when the time came. It can be foreseen that at the summit of Heavenly Mountain, the four divine kings will become the target of a collective assault. If the four divine kings are not taken care of first, a Tier 11 perfect legend like the thin, small elder would not dare to go all out. Enough! This time it's the perfect opportunity to discuss with those old friends how to deal with the four divine kings. A smile appeared on the thin elder's face. Aside from those few other Tier 11 perfect legends at the same level, he had not taken any of the myriad tribes' powerhouses seriously. Outside the 12 ancient countries, a hidden world force. Within the two-dimensional world, the 12 ancient countries are only the largest forces. Beyond the 12 ancient countries, there are many hidden world forces which in terms of heritage are no less than the ancient countries themselves, all established by a witch ancestor. These forces have always lived secluded from the world, uninterested in the information and intelligence of the outside world. Boom, boom, boom. Just then, within the depths of this hidden world force, a terrifying aura ascended, the massive power of chi and blood trembling. Witch ancestor. I have finally become a witch ancestor. An excited middle-aged man walked out. His name was Yen Fu, the strongest being of this hidden world force, who, after enduring strenuous cultivation, had finally stepped into the witch ancestor realm. In a two-dimensional world, for native beings to cultivate up to the level of witch ancestor is more difficult than ascending to heaven. In the past, whenever the heavenly gate opened, it was mostly contested by witch emperors. As for the witch ancestors, as long as a witch ancestor could be born, it was almost certain they would enter the heavenly gate. It's perfect timing that I entered the witch ancestor realm just before the opening of the heavenly gate. The task that my ancestors didn't accomplish, it falls upon me to complete. Yen Fu was emotionally stirred. For life in the two-dimensional world, entering the heavenly gate is the ultimate goal, the ultimate dream. Even for a witch ancestor, entry into the heavenly gate is not guaranteed. The heavenly gate opens every 10,000 years, but the lifespan of a witch ancestor is at most 2,000 to 3,000 years. Therefore, to enter the heavenly gate, even witch ancestors need good fortune. Yen Fu's ancestral witch ancestor was not so lucky. He became a witch ancestor only 800 years after the heavenly gate last opened, directly extinguishing all hope of entering the heavenly gate. Deep within the cosmic starry skies, a mysterious and ancient scroll gradually unfurled. Dozens of supreme beings observed solemnly, studying a piece of white paper in the distance. In the two-dimensional world, there are still 2 months left before the opening of the heavenly gate, but in the main universe, it's just a matter of a little over 10 hours. The flow of time in the two-dimensional world and the main universe is not consistent, with a ratio of 100 to 1.
Heavenly gate.
This opening of the heavenly gate may be our chance to glimpse the essence of this white paper. Indeed, if the heavenly gate is truly an internal connection of the white paper to the outside world, during its opening, we can completely take the chance to uncover some hidden aspects of the white paper. It may even help us in refining this white paper. One after another, supreme beings await with grave anticipation. 2 years have passed, and they remained clueless about this white paper, so they put all their hopes on the heavenly gate that was about to open. Feather Butterfly, is the Void Realm world ready? Xia Qin Supreme Being looked toward the Feather Butterfly. Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today.